Hi, welcome back to another episode of Talking Lost. My wife said I need to smile more, so here I am.
You look like a robot.
Yeah, I know. All right, we're going to be going over some more sports stuff today on this episode. But before we get to that, we once again have some sort of concoction
We got our drinks.
made by a couple of our wives.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's in it. The reveal of that will come later, but we will try it now.
Stick around and watch the whole episode, people.
Did you guys smell it first?
Oh, there's definitely sweet tea in it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Something
I'm gonna
off
add
about
that cherry and see if that astronaut.
I thought it was. I thought there was.
Oh.
I thought there was brown sugar.
Hang on,
in
give me a
it.
second.
Golly, it smells like brown sugar. Oh, now it smells weirder.
For a second, I thought there was coffee in it.
There could be old coffee.
It kind of tastes like
That's
old
an
coffee.
option?
I think it's old coffee and sweet
There
tea. I
could-
think
I
that's
couldn't
what's in
figure
it.
out that little.
There
It,
could
it
be
starts off
stale
sweet and then
yeah.
just kind of like
There could
dead
be,
at
there
the
could
end.
be stale coffee.
Oh boy.
It's not bad.
It's just from this morning.
It could
so
use
it's
a
not the
little bit of
worst.
ice, but it kind of tastes like old coffee and sweet tea.
See, I don't drink coffee, so
It's kind of what it tastes like.
It's not the worst, but it is.
the
odd.
one we had last episode was amazing. This is not as good as the last
I'm
one.
following it with my maraschino cherry
I gotta save that for the
to
end.
clean up
Yeah.
my mouth because
clean
it's
up my
not
mouth.
great.
All right.
All right.
We'll
But the
find out-
aftertaste definitely does kind of taste like stale coffee.
Well, yeah. It starts off pretty good. I taste the sweet tea and then just like
'cause
dead.
It kind of smells like sweet tea, but then kind of ends up tasting like
I
coffee.
thought it smelled like brown sugar.
It might have a hint of
There's
that.
no sweet on the end.
I know.
We will
Yeah.
find out later what is in that. But we will get into our topic one, which will be some NFL playoff football. Probably talk a little bit about the championship games and then get into some Super Bowl talk. James, you want to start us off somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know. It was, I mean, I was disappointed with the outcome of both games. I was hoping for a
think
different
basically
turn. I think
every
most
NFL fan
everybody
was.
in the
Except for the
country,
Philadelphia.
yeah, except for like Philadelphia and Kansas City. Those were the only two spots that were still cheering. for
Yeah.
them, but I don't know. It was a little disappointing. I thought Buffalo was going to have a chance there. I think there was a couple iffy calls. The biggest one to me is the fourth down call that was overruled on the line.
The
judge.
Josh Allen sneak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on that late fourth down, and the line judge on the side that Josh Allen had the ball had the line to gain.
Another guy on their side was
He was on the
Short.
back side of
Yeah.
Josh Allen, and he had it about half yard short, and they went with that guy. He overruled, and so I don't like that. I don't like that happened. I don't know. That to me felt a little iffy on that call, and I do think that affected the game. And then the called catch on the 50-50 ball where the ball hit the ground on like the 3-yard line to, I think that was, oh shoot, Worthy. I think it was
Xavier
Worthy.
Worthy.
Yeah.
yeah.
They kind of had a 50-50 ball, and it hit the ground. You can clearly see it in the replay. It hit
Did the ball
ground.
move?
Well, neither of them had possession at that point. So if the ball hits the ground, it would
Should
be
be
an incomplete
incomplete.
pass, right? Because if it's a 50-50 ball, even if I'm the receiver and I have it here and then I come down and the nose of the ball hits the ground as I'm coming to the ground, they're going to call it an incomplete pass because the ground helped me maintain control. Same situation where the ball, okay, don't give them an interception, whatever, but it cannot be a completed pass. I mean, it should have been an incomplete pass because the ball hit the ground. So those two calls to me are a little iffy. I don't like them. I think that changes the outcome of this game if those get called differently. The Bills played well, but I don't know. I don't think the Chiefs played all that much better than them, given the outcome of the game was only a 3-point game. So
Where are you at on that game?
I'm sad. I'm really, and like I said, I was talking to my dad or my brothers, I think, Sunday watching the game, and I don't hate Patrick Mahomes as a person or anything like that. It goes back now. I'm the old man of the group or whatever, but I grew up. Tom Brady was winning every single year for 20 years. It felt like he dominated, and he did. And now it's the Chiefs.
yep.
I have nothing against the Chiefs. Even as a Bronco fan, I don't hate the Chiefs. I hate the Raiders. I don't like Raiders at all. But Buffalo, again, finds a way to lose the Chiefs again. At what point are the Bills cursed never to even win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't know.
How many times have they faced the Chiefs in the past 4 or 5 years
Hasn't it
be able
been
to-
almost every year? It's been those two in the championship game.
Feels like
than
it.
like 1 year.
Well, dude, think about it. You gave
wasn't it the-
Mahomes 13
Something like
seconds. That should not be even enough time, and they kick the field goal to go. Then they win a few years ago. Dalton Knox, he has a chance
know.
to catch that. I thought he had it.
Wasn't it Kincaid? I thought it was
Dalton Kincaid, not Dalton Knox. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Dawson Knox.
But, yep. I thought he had the ball.
Yeah.
And then you see,
Which he
clearly
did.
dr-
He did,
He
and it
did,
just,
and he
like,
just
went
he
through.
dropped it. But
I don't know.
man, you
That's
feel
a-
bad for those Bills fans, man. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s, couldn't even get one. Even the Atlanta Braves went to 6 or 7 World Series in the 90s, and they got one at least.
My wife and I were looking up that because she was curious on who hadn't been to the Super Bowl, and she saw that about the Bills being like
They're won one.
4 in a row, and they've never won one. It's like, man, that just sucks,
Dude, now I know this isn't a hockey show, but even the New York Islanders won 4 straight Stanley Cups.
Jeepers.
The late 80s and the early 90s. It's nuts. But the Bills can't even get one. Okay, here's a question. This is interesting. A little off topic here. Who do you feel worse for? You got 3 teams. Historically great fan bases, always loyal, but are perpetual losers. Detroit Lions, the Browns, and the Bills. Which fan base has it worse? Or has suffered the most? However you want to put it.
Are you going like total
Total overall.
overall?
Yep.
Okay.
Who do I feel the worst for?
Yes.
I'm gonna go Lions, and it's because you've had great players and done nothing with them. Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson,
Stafford.
even Matthew Stafford.
Which
You've
Stafford
had
went to a different
good,
team and got
really
his ring.
good players.
Year after.
Hall of Famers come through there and won nothing with them. That's why I go there. The Browns, I don't feel bad for the Browns. I don't care for that organization anyways. But the Bills would be.
But I
Bills would
think
be up
the
there too. But I would
Browns
go-
is like
I'd go
worst
Lions.
worst decision making has been in the recent years. I feel a little bad for the Browns. I think I agree. I'm on the Lions side of things. If you go recent history, I think I'm on the Bills' side just because of how much talent they have and how close they've gotten and just can't get over that hump.
The chief hump.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and the Lions I think have a now they lost half their coaching staff and that, so we'll see how that affects them next year. But they have a lot that they've built on, and they have a lot of really high potential. And I think they have a more open side of the league. I think the NFC is a lot more evenly matched.
Hey, you're not in the AFC West. That helps.
Yeah, but it's like Detroit loses to Washington. They kind of exploited some maybe creases in that Lions team.
Yep.
Washington did. Now it doesn't help that still half their defense was out. You know, yes, they got Montgomery back and they got a couple of the guys back, but they still weren't playing full strength. And I think it just showed up as you go later in that year. Like
Yeah.
Washington had the depth, and yes, technically on paper Detroit should have been the better team, but Washington just performed better that game because I think the lack of depth on Detroit's sideline was starting to catch up to them.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Rams the year after they won the Super Bowl. They had nobody left because they paid all of their guys.
They got their Super Bowl.
Right, they got their Super Bowl, but they had to pay all these guys, and they had no depth. So the next year, they were just absolutely flat because they had no depth. They had nobody there, and now they've come kind of out of that, and they've rebuilt on the curtails of some of these, you know, giving up a bunch of number 1 picks and things like that to get all these players that they have now, and they've done a really good job of starting to rebuild that again. But
McVay's a good coach.
really good coach. I think they have a really good ownership group and the staffing and that the general
Nate
manager.
Shieldhouse is there too. That helps. So,
Yeah. But it's just one of those things where that I think that's what really affects these teams is the ones that have gotten hurt, right? They're dealing with injuries and they don't have any depth behind them late in these playoff pushes. Now, the Chiefs, as much as I dislike them, you have to give them credit. They had probably the worst looking receiving core in the league this year.
Yep.
They had the worst running backs other than Pacheco, right? They have one
He was
good
hurt.
running back, and he was hurt. They have a tight end. They've started to now. Kelsey didn't even have that good of a year, and really he hasn't performed all that well till like week 17.
I wonder
And
if he
then now in the
retires
playoffs.
at the end of the year.
Maybe.
I wonder.
But it's one of those things where on paper the Chiefs should not have performed offensively the way they did. And they did it a lot of games, right? This came down to like field goal winning or,
Yep.
these last second wins. But they are a team who knows how to win in these deep runs, in high stakes ball, right? They know how to win these games, and it's mainly due to the coaching staff that they have.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes, as much as I am frustrated and annoyed with seeing him do this, right?
Yep.
And it goes back to the Tom Brady thing of, I just want to see somebody new in there.
Yes.
And it's not that Patrick Mahomes is a really good player. He's a great quarterback. He's a great football player, and he knows how to win in these high pressure games. And he's been here so long that even when they're behind, it's like, guess what? We're just going to go out and we're going to do our thing, and we're just going to move the ball, and we're going to make this happen. And so that is what I think wins these games, and that's what came through, right? The Bills have been here a lot, but they haven't won, and so they don't know what to do to win those games in those last second minutes.
I don't
right?
even know what they need to do to change, honestly. I mean, I know we're spending a lot of time on the AFC title game, but that was the most exciting game. The other one was it was close for a minute, and it was. I mean, the first play for the Eagles.
It wasn't really
touchdown
close
for
as soon as
Saquon.
Saquon.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
it was close Washington's first drive, and that was it. Because
Yeah.
then after that, Saquon came out and went one play, and
60
that was
yards,
done.
yeah.
And then after that, it was over. So,
Well, and you lose 3 fumbles. All went for touchdowns
yep.
after that.
And again, that shows the immaturity in those high pressure games. It,
Yeah.
it showed through with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, but back to the Chiefs and the Bills. I don't know what the Bills need to do to even change, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit better pass rush, because I'm not sure where they even go for the draft. You just building depth at this point, or what? I don't know.
I think pass rush definitely. I think the other thing that showed up in the Chiefs game was a lack of a big rusher. Like, James Cook is good, but he has no second option.
He's not Chris Jones.
No,
Or George Karlaftis.
No, rushing game.
rushing game.
Oh, rushing. Not, I was thinking rushing
yeah.
the quarterback.
Sorry,
Yeah.
no, rushing game.
Running game.
Yeah,
Running
running
game.
game.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
there you go. But James Cook is good, but he has no depth behind him. So he wears out, right? If you can pinpoint one guy and you figure out how he runs, you can really shut it down.
Yep.
And it's what the Chiefs struggled with all year with their run game, right? Because they had one style of run, and that was it. So I think it's a lack of, like, explosive weapons on offense. They have opportunities to get it, but they don't have, like, a real explosive player.
They don't have enough at the skill position.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a couple pieces.
Got Xavier Worthy. It's insanely
No,
fast.
Bills.
Bills
Yeah.
need skill position.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody. And so I think that's where that's what they can do is just have so many guys that you can't cover them. Right? Have too many guys. Do what the Chiefs did. Where if you try to run zone to contain the speedy wide receivers, well, Kelsey's going to eat you alive. You try to run man-to-man, well, Xavier Worthy cannot run anybody else on the field. And
Yeah.
so that's where the Chiefs might not have the depth, but it's the way those pieces complement each other. That's what the Bills don't have.
It's like the Niners last year, right? You had so many guys in play every possession. How do you guard? Who do you guard? Where do you guard? Right? Like, it didn't matter as long as they could read the defense right and get the right call in that huddle. Guess what? We can change that the line, and we're just going to utilize one of our 7 different potential options.
And that's what it's like with the Eagles this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, give him the ball and let him make a play. Now, Philly and Washington. I don't have much to say about this one, honestly.
It was pretty expected. I was hoping Washington would pull it out for Jaden Daniels. I thought it would be fun. I'm not unhappy with the outcome because I do want to see, like, Jalen Hurts win. I like him. I
Saquon
like
win a Super Bowl.
There's a lot of players on that team I like. So I'm not, like, terribly upset of it. That's who I'm cheering for in the Super
Same
Bowl.
here.
I'm going for the Eagles. I would much prefer to see that group of players win
Yep.
a Super Bowl. I think they have a lot of high potential in front of them. I think they were such a weird team because all year it was like, oh, the Eagles are still winning. Oh, the Eagles are still winning. Oh, they're still winning. But they were so under the radar of, like,
It's like people almost expected them to fall off. Or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
And they went out and added Saquon, and people expected them to fall off.
a little bit.
Weird, but
Hey, Silas, I have to ask, is a running back worth $16 million a year?
well, I don't know. That's Philadelphia fans. I in this game am cheering for Saquon and Saquon only. That is
Yeah.
the only part of this game I'm cheering for.
All right.
I would totally be fine to watch Saquon put up 4 touchdowns on the Chiefs himself. That would be awesome.
and lose 31-28.
No win.
Yeah, it's probably what happened.
Maybe put up 6 touchdowns. I don't know.
Okay, 45-42.
What
Chiefs.
I was gonna say, what does it take to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
Pretty much. Let's move
What
on.
did the Bucs
let's,
do?
Let's move on to the Super Bowl. We'll kind of, as we're transition that way, let's move into some Super Bowl talk here. Kansas City's favored by 1.5. Opened at 2, so it's gone the Eagles' way a little bit.
Not much, though.
What moves it to the Eagles versus the Chiefs? Anything?
An injury. So if we hear, I mean, we got one more week before kickoff. If let's say practice, even things happen in practice, obviously. Left tackle. It has to be something on offense. I don't think defense would matter unless Chris Jones
Chris Jones would be the one.
or McDuffie.
Yeah.
But
Possibly Bolton.
yeah,
He's really good too.
but I think on offense, if you hear during the week, Kelsey is doubtful to play because he had a high ankle sprain. Or
he's gonna play. He could have a broken leg and he would still play.
well,
Yeah,
I understand that,
Kelsey's
but I'm saying
talking about,
an injury
yeah.
that keeps him out or severely limits him because physically, I understand it's a Super Bowl, I understand it, but you just physically can't.
Offensively, it's probably either Kelsey or Mahomes. And defensively,
Worthy.
yeah, I still got Kelsey though. That's
Yeah, but not
But,
someone to
it's
go
gotta
top.
be- it's
but
gotta
you
be
take
big
away the
news.
over the top
That's
guy.
the thing.
And so I do think that affects him a lot if Worthy were to go out. If he were unable to play, I think that does affect how the Chiefs can guard that because you can pull a lot of your guys in. You can play a lot more like cover 2 or even
Run more man-to-man
more
against
run more
Kelsey,
man
'cause
out.
he'll
Yeah,
usually
I
have
mean,
them.
or double. You're able to double Kelsey and just go 1-on-1 on the outside. Like you have the ability. to
If
do
that happens, now we don't have any information
I don't-
that says
I don't
he's
think-
hurt.
I don't see
But
that
we're going to
happening
assume
either.
that everyone's healthy.
So the Eagles are number 1 defense.
Yep. Number one
They're
rush offense too, right?
Second in rushing.
Okay.
I think the Ravens were number 1.
Oh, okay, with Lamar and Derek.
They're 8th in offense, so second in rushing, and then they're 29th in passing. So the only
Which is amazing.
category that the Chiefs actually have the Eagles beat on is the passing game. Chiefs are 14th.
You know,
So
it's amazing to me. Real sorry, I'm trying to interrupt Jim.
you're fine.
That with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, you're 29.
I know.
Is it just because you are so good running the ball? You don't need to pass it.
I
That's
think
probably
so.
part of it. I
think
assume.
it's just because they've handed the ball off to Saquon so many times. I
It's
mean,
worked.
he has just run over everybody.
Yeah.
And so I just don't think that Jalen Hurts has really had to use his arm as much as everybody thought he would, or he's had to. So I think this comes down to, can the Eagles defense stop the Chiefs offense? Because I think the Eagles are going to move the ball on the Chiefs. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think the Chiefs have enough on offense this year to stop the Eagles offense.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But here's the thing: in the end, it comes down to Andy Reid and Mahomes, like it always has. If you have Andy Reid and Mahomes, you always have a shot.
Yep.
And I know we're maybe not in the picks yet, but I'm going to do mine right now. Until someone beats them and stops the three-peat, I'm taking Kansas City. I'm cheering for Philly, but I'm picking Kansas City. And Kansas City knows how to win these close games. They know how to win blowouts. They know how to win every single scenario. There's nothing that surprises them after so many years of being this dominant. So I'm going Chiefs. I think it's going to be a close one, like it has been often for Chiefs and any opponent they're playing. I think this will be high scoring. I think we're going to get a 34-31. Butker kicks one through at the end. So that's my prediction, but I'm cheering for Philly.
I hate picking against who I'm cheering for. I basically can't.
All right.
So I'm picking Eagles, but I'm picking it as a close game also. Probably a field goal. I think it's even going to be higher scoring than what you said. I think it's in the 40s somewhere that this game ends. Possibly either off of a big like stop on defense by the Eagles and then like a clutch first down run by Saquon to kind of end the game type of a scenario. I don't even know if it comes down to like a full field goal. I think it comes down to, do the Eagles get the Chiefs? Do they stop their last drive? That's what I think it comes down to.
I hope they do.
I'm gonna tell you how this game is gonna go.
Okay.
Ooh, here we go.
Eagles are gonna come out hot. Saquon's gonna be running all over the place. Everything's gonna be clicking for the Eagles. They're gonna be at 14 at half, And then what's his face coming out singing the Super Bowl halftime show? He's going to come out,
Kendrick
ruin
Lamar?
everything.
Yeah, Kendrick
Kendrick
Lamar.
Lamar.
And then the Chiefs and the refs are going to come out, dominate the second half. Chiefs are going to win by 6.
You know, it'd be kind of fun. I really wish Taylor Swift was doing the show this year with her dating Kelsey. That'd be kind of an interesting
should.
dynamic.
Because then Kelsey would have to come out
We're
during the
making it
show at
more
halftime.
unwatchable.
But then Kelsey would have to come out at halftime and not be in the locker room.
Or Taylor will be mad.
All right. Well, I think that concludes our first segment. We'll move on to segment 2 after a short break.